game, they give you that little plastic thing that bobbles around like this, right? Instead of doing that, they're going to have chill wipe day. So when you walk into the stadium, they're going to give you a pack of 10 chill wipes, one for every inning, right? And then one extra to take home so that you can have a souvenir. But every inning, you use one to wipe your forehead. Think about how cool that would be. Cool, literally, get it? And so when they started talking to me about it, I immediately said, I love that idea. It's a great idea. I've actually seen that idea in Japan. In Japan, in the train stations, they give out a product that's very similar. It's called a panda in Japan, named after the bear. And I was like, that makes a lot of sense. Immediately, that goes right to my heart. Now, it's not as big as solving the dirty air problem in a major metropolitan city, but still, immediately, I know in my heart and in my head that people are going to pay for that. Would you pay $1 for a pack of 10? Would you pay $2? Yeah. Would you pay $7?
No, I'm thinking.
Yeah, maybe. Depends on how hot it is, right? But certainly we would all pay $2. We all agreed with that pretty quickly. And that's the price point. As a matter of fact, to get those manufactured, shipped to Atlanta for distribution, costs 31 cents a pack. And so for $2, there's a $1.70 profit per pack. And the Braves want to start off by buying 50,000 packs as their first order. Do you like this business so far? Or it doesn't take very long to convince you that this is a good idea, right? This idea makes a lot of sense. And this is the team that won the global competition, beating out something that's going to make our air cleaner. That says a lot, doesn't it? Which is more important to society? Clean air or being comfortable at a Braves game? Clean air is a lot more important. But the judges from around the world voted that the sweat wipe was something that they wanted to see more than the clean air system from the Delhi team. And this is also interesting. These high school students went out and started to find partners. How can they sell this? So what do you think the easiest, best way to bootstrap this business is? They have to bootstrap the business. Who's going to be like the first place they sell it? Where could they find people who would work for almost nothing and be able to sell thousands of sweat wipes every weekend? What about selling them at high school football games? And who could be the agent? Who could be the distribution channel at a high school football game? What about a high school kid, right? So imagine you're at a football game or a soccer game, and a kid comes around and says, I have sweat wipes, they're $2. Oh, and the first 50 cents goes to the school as a benefit for the school's athletic program. Are you going to buy that? Yeah. They sent out one tweet, inviting high school students from around the country to participate. They had 72 kids sign up within 1 hour. How much does that cost them? 0. Now they have 72 employees for free because it all appeals to our heart. Also, it's really cool that they're going to be giving back 1/4 of the price directly back to some sort of charity, the local athletic program that's sponsoring the football game that evening. Now, I could talk all day about how wonderful this product is, but you all agreed almost immediately that this was a good product, didn't you? Because it all went to our heart, but then it also, in the second after it went to our heart, said, oh yeah, I'm a sweaty person. I hate being hot in Delhi when it's 112 degrees, right? Right now in Europe, it's one of the hottest summers ever. But here in Atlanta, it's one of the coolest summers that I can ever remember. But in Europe, it's 103 degrees today. Right? It went to my heart, oh yeah, that's a good idea because I'm a hot, sweaty guy, and I can imagine being 20 degrees cooler. But then immediately after that, it went to our brain. Does that make sense? Do we see people standing underneath the air conditioning vent at a train station? We do. Do we see people walking around with white towels to wipe their forehead? People going like this? We do, because we have the life experience to know that people work really hard to stay cool, right? You can take what are they called? The tuk-tuk? The auto rickshaw? Why do we choose a taxi cab instead of a auto rickshaw? To get the air conditioning. Exactly. We work really hard because our heart knows that I don't want to sweat and make my suit all gross. Because we've had that life experience, the brain goes, your intuition was right. In the first second, our intuition said, that's a great product. And then we analyze it with our brain and go, that's a really good idea. 30 cents to get it manufactured and shipped to the United States. We all agreed that $2 was a good price point. We're doing the analytic thinking behind the scenes in the next 20 seconds, and we go, that makes a lot of sense. I want it in my heart, and my brain says, whoever does that's going to make a lot of money. So we have the heart and the dot from the Spirit logo within the first 20 seconds, and we're satisfied. Don't you agree that product's going to make a ton of money? Yeah, I do too. I'm going to invest in it. I'm going to be part of the team because I think it's such a great idea. So what we want to talk about here in the first part of the morning is that really quick, that first second, is that a good idea or not? The intuition. And whether as entrepreneurs we should listen to that or not. Does it make sense for us to listen to our gut, to our heart, or to ignore our brain? Are there products that we would buy in our heart but not do with our brain? Should we be doing that? And so we want to study this morning the idea of whether intuition for entrepreneurs is a good thing or a bad thing. How many times have you heard someone say, I just have a feeling that it's going to work out. I just have this gut feeling that it's a good idea. Are those people more successful or less successful as entrepreneurs? What do you think? I'm going to go through some of the data that actually proves it. They are more successful. But it also here is something else that's really important. They're more successful the older they get. Sorry, all of you 20-year-olds here in the room, all of you millennials, us old curmudgeons are actually smarter because we have those life experiences. I've been in the subway station sweating through my suit, knowing that a sweat wipe would make me a lot happier, right? Or anything else. I'm also right now, I'm starting a dental company. It's a really good idea for avoiding American insurance. How many of you here actually live here in America, right? Most of you do. And we all have dental insurance. And we know that dental insurance is a horrible, horrible thing for consumers. It's a stupid idea. It doesn't make any more sense. What do they cover? What does dental insurance cover? Nothing. Just about nothing, right? They give you one free cleaning a year. How much does that cost you? Probably about $400 a year. But how much does it cost to go get a cleaning and pay cash? $125 a year. So you're paying $400 a year to save $125 a year. Does that make sense in your brain? No, it doesn't. So I'm coming up with a system that makes this more sense. But you know what? I talked to my 18, 19-year-old son about it, and he goes, Dad, I don't get that. That doesn't make any sense. And I was like, that's right. That's because you've never written a check for dental insurance before. When you're 50 and you see what a scam this is, you'll like this idea. And he goes, I don't care, right? So what we're going to talk about is this intuition and how it plays a role in the entrepreneurial world. So I have a lot of quotes this morning. I did a lot of research thinking about today, trying to find out what the academics are learning by studying intuition. And I came up with some really interesting data. The most important thing is that people believe that intuition is more important than thinking. And that's what the world actually believes. And they think that data analysis is really great, but we're going to find out something really interesting. That even the big data people, the people who are obsessed with acquiring huge mainframes of data, guess what they rely on more? Their intuition. And that's really discouraging to me for big data. The next time someone comes to me and says, I want to sell you big data services, my gut's going to say, I don't think so, because even you don't believe in it. So what do we use the big data for? To back up the gut instinct that we already have. So the correct procedure as entrepreneurs is to say, well, my gut says this, and let me see if I can find some data that backs it up or not, that proves my point or not, right? Because I could be wrong. My gut could be wrong. I don't know, but we'll see, right? When I was 25, I started that business they were telling me about. We were the world's largest summer camp company. Summer camp is not an interesting industry. There's nothing sexy about summer camp, except that we made 75% profit on every kid, and then we grew at 2,000% a year for 7 years in a row. That's sexy, isn't it? And when I started that business, I asked myself one question: would you buy this? And the answer was, well, when I was 12, I went to a summer camp exactly like the one I was going to start. The exact same thing. I did it when I was 12 and I loved it. And so the interesting question is, am I like all of you people? Are we all pretty much the same? Like, do we all enjoy sugar and salt? Yeah, we do, right? And so if I'm going to have something that's sugary and salty, it's going to sell because I know all of you like it as much as I do. Do we all love our kids? Yes, we do. But in the summertime, are we really excited to get rid of our kids? Yes, we are, right? Why do we have a summer camp industry? Because we don't want to take care of you all summer kids, right? And all of you parents know that I'm being honest here, right? All of you parents are the exact same way. I can't wait to get school started again. You know, my wife and I, every night when we put our kids to bed, we have a 7 o'clock bedtime at our house. And as we walk out of, I have little kids. I got old kids and little kids. I got kids all over the place. And when we walk out of the 2-year-old's room, we sing a Disney song. It's the happiest time of day, right? Are you parents there with me? Thank God the kids are asleep. I'm going to have some relaxation now, right? So anyway, when I started this summer camp business, I went and asked people, parents, would you pay for this? And I had every single parent say yes. And I asked them the price point. What does summer camp normally cost here in America? $150 a week, $200 a week. Does that sound about right? Yeah. Ours was $800 a week.
Perfect.
$800 a week. And every year we increased the price by about 15 or 20%. Because I would ask parents, there was one thing I forgot to tell you. Our summer camp was at Stanford and MIT and Georgetown and UCLA and University of Michigan. So one thing we all agreed is we love our kids. The second thing we all agreed is we love to get rid of them. The third thing that I would propose is that we all want our kids to go to prestigious, cool places, don't we? Like Stanford. Would you like to be able, what are you doing this summer? I'm going to MIT, what are you doing? Would you like to be able to say that about your kids? Does that make you feel good? Of course it does, right? And so we were able to charge a huge premium for the fact that we were at Stanford and MIT, because I know the data proves that, right? All right, slide please. Interesting thing here. Intuition is something that happens in the moment, instantaneously. That first second, that half second that we think about it. And sometimes that is all that it takes. And this is really interesting. I've noticed that I get that half second, that second when. When do you find that you are, we could say creative, but when do you get inspired like this, and when does your brain start figuring these things out? When you're not trying to do it, right? You know that old saying that you can't find someone to fall in love with when you're looking to find someone to fall in love with? When do you find someone to fall in love with? When you're not looking, right? Do we all experience that? Are we old enough to have experienced that? When do you get great ideas, these intuition things? Not when you're sitting down trying to do it. I find that I have my best thoughts when I'm mowing the lawn. When I go out and mow the lawn, or another time is when I shave in the morning. I'm really good at having new ideas then. Have you all had similar experiences? That all of a sudden you're like, oh, I hope I don't cut myself, I hope I don't cut myself. Wow, here's a great idea. Or I'm mowing the lawn and said, oh wow, dental insurance, it sucks. There's got to be a better way, and that's the way it happens. And so here's the important part. Do we learn to listen to it? Are we willing to listen to our intuition and trust it? And if we are we willing to then act on it and do something that might cost us some money? Take a little bit of risk, right? Because we're entrepreneurs, so we like to take risks. Do you believe that? Really? You like to take risks?
Only if it pays back. Only if there is a return.
Right? So you'd be excited about me pushing you out of an airplane, hoping that the parachute works.
Or I have been.
That's a risk that excites you? No. Or do you know what skiffing is? When you hold on to the back of a car in a snowstorm and try to skate behind the back of a car? That sounds fun? Well, that's a risk. I don't think entrepreneurs like risk. I think entrepreneurs do everything they can do to figure out how to reduce risk. Right? Whose money do I want to use? Your money. Why do I use your money and not my money? To reduce my risk. What else do I try to do as a good entrepreneur? Get the Braves to buy 50,000 by first order so that I don't have to buy the first order myself. I try to go out there and get customers, number one, don't I? Don't I try to go get customers to prove my idea before I spend a lot of money? What is that doing? Reducing my risk, right? So my gut tells me that this is a good idea, and then my brain says, yeah, but let's hedge our bets a little bit and see if we can reduce risk as much as possible, right? We all agree on that? I don't agree that entrepreneurs are risk-taking people. I think brand new entrepreneurs who have never done it before take risks. But you talk to someone who started 20 businesses, 30 businesses, they do everything they can to reduce risk so that it's almost an absolute no-brainer. So if you have a piece of paper in your hand that the Braves say they're going to spend $79,000 to buy these chill wipes from you, and you know that it's only going to cost you $12,000 to fulfill that, you've got a signed piece of paper from Mr. Brave. Are you taking any risk to start that business and buy the first $12,000 order? No, there's zero risk there. Because you can sue Mr. Brave if he doesn't pay you the $70,000, and you're going to win. And lawyers will take that case because Mr. Brave used to be Ted Turner, now I have no idea who it is, right? Has put his name on a sheet of paper. And here in America, we consider those contracts valid. So the thing we have to do is be willing to listen to it, but then process it from the gut and out of the brain, seeing if it still makes any sense. So I came up with a really advanced formula here for all of you engineer students, right? This one, there's no regression in this. You don't need calculus for this one. You don't even need geometry. And you can also replace this with the heart and the circle from the spirit icon, right? It's a little bit of heart, it's a little bit of a dot, right? So those two things added together. And that is a successful entrepreneur. I had this gut feeling that you were going to like this product. I just got this gut feeling that this product's going to make you happy, and you're going to be willing to pay $2 for this, or $18,000 for this. I just got this gut feeling that if I produced a car that was entirely environmentally free, and it was only $18,000, that you would buy it. Or $30,000 and they sold 500,000 Teslas before the product was even launched. Right? Again, what was Elon Musk doing there? Reducing his risk by getting all of the people who bought the car to pay for the development of the car. See how smart that was? And here's another interesting thing about Tesla. You know that half of the car's price is eventually paid for by the United States government, right? What is he doing there? He's also reducing his risk. So right now, Elon Musk is worth about $10 billion. I read an article this week that said 6 to 7 billion of that are because of all the government subsidies that he gets. Which as a small entrepreneur, us people, kind of makes me mad, Doesn't that make you mad that he's a big entrepreneur, he's getting all that money from the government and we're not? You know, that kind of makes me mad, right? Because I think government, what is the #1 job of government in the United States is to protect the big guy at the expense of us little guy, right? I see a lot of that going on, but I digress. All right, yes, go ahead and slide, please. So here is what I think the uneducated entrepreneur would say. The uneducated person would say, it's the gut instinct, but I don't need to worry about the logic. That's not true. Next slide, please. But I would argue that the exact opposite is true. The most important thing is, it's the process where we go by and say, yes, this makes sense in my gut, but even more importantly, I can scrutinize the data, I can look at the big data, I can go talk to 100 customers and see if they're willing to pay my price for it. Are you willing to pay $30,000 for a completely electric car? Well, 500,000 people said yes, we'll buy that Tesla at $30,000. And I'm willing to put a $1,000 deposit down right now for that. So what is important for us entrepreneurs to do is to trust the gut, but then to test it as well. How are we going to test it? Go talk to people. Go find research. Look at what other companies have been able to do. See if another product that's similar to that has been successful. So I did some research. When I was studying the sweat wipes, as the coach, I did some research. That when the first baby wipe came out, right? Baby wipe for the bum, right? For the diaper cleanup, right? People thought that that was a crazy idea at first. Because they already had a way of washing babies' bums. And so people were like, we don't need a baby wipe. We already know how to wash a bum. But then the first baby wipe started coming out, and people were like, moms were like, oh, that's a lot easier. That's a better way. And those wipes were very successful. And what about glasses? I've just started wearing glasses in the last 6 months because I can't read anymore up close, right? So my wife picked these out. Do I look good? My wife already said I did. I've already done my research, right? Who matters? My wife, right? But you know what I've become obsessed with? Is cleaning my glasses. And you know what they sell at the store? A baby wipe that's designed to clean my glasses. And then I got one of those iPhone things. And what's the first thing you notice about your iPhone screen? That it keeps getting dirty every time you touch it. And so you know what they invented? A wipe designed to clean your iPhone screen. How many of us have bought those? In other words, what I have learned by a little bit of research is that Americans love to wipe stuff. Right? I mean, they do. We've come up with, in 2 seconds, we've got 4 different wipe scenarios, right? And then there's wipes for the kitchen. There's stainless steel wipes just for your stainless steel refrigerator. There are oven wipes. There are microwave wipes. We wipe every damn thing. And so if I could give you a wipe that's going to wipe the sweat off your forehead, all it is another step in what Americans love to do. We love to buy